Hello again. Welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to join me within my daily trade review, going over some small cap action and general market technical analysis. IPDN is the big one today, 235% from our ads off of some pretty decent news on a Friday, which is kind of crazy. A little late to upload. Was just relaxing, and then it was season reset. I am a Magic the Gathering player, and we did hit #1 in the entire world, which is pretty cool. So, taking some time to relax, right? It does take a lot of time to do that, and we had a busy week trading as well. And luckily, it's Labor Day. We get the day off from the markets, and I can catch up on all my chores. So we're going to break down this trade, our entries, how we were scaling out, and where we did end up with that massive 236% move. But before that, we're going to talk about a few other things. Let's get down to the bottom, right? Let's start at the top of the list here. NUKK. This is like a crypto mining company, I'm pretty sure. And they're going to launch a defense subsidiary, which is kind of crazy. And they secure an exclusive U.S. distribution agreement with BladeRanger to capitalize on a booming drone payload market, right? So kind of, I guess, shifting sectors. And you see companies that aren't very good do this a lot. They engage in the provision of blockchain-enabled technology solutions. Yeah. Also offering, yeah, okay. So they're just like what's hot, When quantum's hot, they're a quantum company. When crypto's going up, they're a crypto company. Bombs over Baghdad, they're selling drones, I guess. So that's fine. They are a small market cap, 25 million here after the pop. And this news was a little old though, right? This news was 2 days ago. And you see the run here, right? We get, a little tickly do, and kind of rejecting that weekly gap, right? That weekly open gap from Monday, and holding, not really breaking down too much, but definitely retracing. And then the volume comes in, right? The volume just hits it fresh, and away we go. So, what's really interesting on this is because it's old news, I like to go back a little bit larger time frame, specifically the 15 minutes. And whenever you get, this big move, right, you want to get in on a retracement. So you see our bearish reversal here, our two EMAs, the teal and the blue, 21 and 50. They're going to reverse, and then we trend downwards as momentum resets, right? But what we have here is our reversal on the 15 in a bullish capacity, right? Just before this massive green candle off of the morning tickle, right? So it's morning tickle, and you see how the price is now above the EMAs, which allows them to reverse because the 21 is going to stay closer than the 50 because it's a tighter average, right? And then just as they're about to reverse in anticipation, you get a massive load up candle, and then the reversal happens on the transfer, right, to the next minute. Which is, I guess next couple minutes, next 15 minutes, because we're on 15. But this is, why we get that expansion is the reversal on the 15, right? So it's just something that I like to pay attention to is whenever we do have something that pops, you get a big run, then it pulls back. I like to watch it on that 15-minute chart for that potential entry. And, this is exactly why. So, not something you always do, but when you see it being tickled, like there's still volume here, even though it was dwarfed. Like if we go, and I know my thing is kind of in the way, but you can see that the volume here it's there, right? Like it pops up and kind of sustains, right? And doesn't really fall down until, later, at which point, it really starts to come in. So the preload here is what gets our attention, and then okay, let's check it out since it did have that run a couple days ago on the 15-minute, and then we see that it's going. I didn't enter this play by any means, but this is how we would want to play it. You see it gonna go, and you had plenty of time to get in on this, right? Because now we're on the 1 minute, not the 15-minute, right? So it's technically you had 15 of these bars to get in before the actual move, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, basically, right? That gap. That's a lot of time to load in on this consolidation. You get that first pop, probably a lot of people scaling out here. Test trend, and this is kind of spooky. Like, it does break down on VWAP here, right? Breaks down VWAP, and then these two bars are closed and opening below VWAP, which is by all means terrifying. But they're green bars, at least, right? Like, they're coming back, right? And then once you break through VWAP again, you kind of hold it, right? This is just like, you know, all wick, this candle. So there's not much there to read other than, you know, buyers. And it's low volume too, right? It's like volume's just coming back. Like these consolidation candles, everybody's kind of like holding their breath here, right? And then once it has confirmation that it's holding and it's going to expand further, then that volume pours in again. Does die though, does die. So that's NUKK. I don't care about the news, but it's, you know, it was a Friday. Typically, I take it really easy on Fridays. There's not a lot going on, so it was nice to see this in the morning. Bed Bath & Beyond is back, which is wild. Jake Freeman, you're on my list. If you know, you know. So this is a name change from Beyond. You guys know Bobby or Bed Bath & Beyond was one of the meme stocks. They got delisted, went OCT, absolutely deleted from your account. And now they're back with the name change. And, you know, we're going to keep our eye on it, right? So nothing really happened. You know, it was just like a little pop-up this morning and then just bled down, right? So this is what we hate to see. There's no way to trade this. There's no structure here. Very low liquidity, right? Like, you can't trade this. Like, how are you getting it in with a setup on this? And that's why we like the volume, right? We love relative volume. Like, let's look at IPDN. You see how much easier this is to trade, right? In comparison, like, you can find trade structure here, specifically holding VWAP and reclaiming, right? In comparison to this, like, how are you finding any trade structure here to play? That's crazy. You'll never be able to do it. So that's why volume is really, really important. So aside from Bed Bath & Beyond being back, Move was here. This had very bad news. Granted listing extension by Nasdaq, which is probably not great. That's a couple days ago as well. We check it out on the 15. So we see this pop. Nothing here really. Like, it doesn't reverse bearish until like just a couple days before on the 25th. Sorry, that's the 27th. And then on the 28th, it's already reversing right in the morning. There's no structure here either. Like, this is really gross. And that's it. It's like a delisting play. Like, it's not good. But once the volume does hit, right? Like, there's no way to get on this early. Like, you wouldn't want to. Not like you would with NUKK, where there was some structure, right? There was some volume to play off of, especially once it started to come in. You know, this is just not great. Like, you could maybe scalp it up here, but look, all these wick rejections. Like, it's holding VWAP at night, and then in the morning, it's struggling with VWAP, right? You see the difference? But it does break through, and you do get some nice expansion, but again, massive wicks up here, and it's a Friday, right? Like, what do you expect? Specifically with something like this. Like, the news isn't great, you know. It's probably still going to delist, but we'll see. Maybe it does turn around. I don't know. On the 1 day, I don't even know. I didn't pay too much attention to this, to be honest. This is kind of the first time I'm looking at it. I mean, a reversal could form. I wouldn't want to play it at this point, though. We'll see how it goes this week, but like, maybe you do get a full-blown reversal here. Hit it to the 200. That's still another 100% plus. We'll have to watch it. You know, it's nothing that I would ever consider touching without volume, and that is really gonna be different day to day. But, you know, We couldn't break the 50 here on the 1 day, and now we slammed through it. So as long as the price trends above our EMAs, they're going to reverse, which could allow us to swing up to the 200. That's not totally out of the book if the extension is bullish enough for this company to attract volume, right? Market cap is very small, so it's, it's not totally out of the books for next week. We'll have to wait and see. And then IPDN was the massive winner, right? So they're announcing compliance-driven Web 3.0 investment, and they're launching a revamped website for job seekers and employers. And this was like hot, right? So news pop holds the 21, right? And then into morning, nothing was really looking great. This comes down into VWAP and then expands upwards. And at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I like it. It's the only, because this is old news. Bobby being back with no volume, I can't trade that. There's no structure. I'm not going to play a delisting extension move. I'm not just watch it. So this is the only thing with news, right? A catalyst that can drive volume throughout the day. So we get in on this off this expansion candle, right? Our stop loss is below this, liquidity grab in the morning, or trend retest, if you will. Just set the stop below that and try to scalp it up, right? Get our 1-to-1 if you're quick at it, but if not, you get your confirmed exit a little bit later. It breaking through VWAP here is kind of scary, but holding ultimately our 50 and reclaiming VWAP immediately. So that's why we have our stop, right? Because this could have turned against us, right? Like there's a world, or where you didn't get your exit here, you didn't get your fill, and then the trend didn't hold and you got stopped out, right? And you don't know whether or not you're going to get this massive 200% move afterwards or not, right? Because you're over here. You can't see that, right? This is what you're trading, and you're like, oh my God, this candle just slammed down to the 50. If that 50 breaks, I got to exit this with a loss, right? So it's really important to make sure you have that stop loss set and make sure you respect it. And, it's sometimes you dip into it. That's okay. You can't always have absolute perfect entries. Like I did chase this, right? Kind of bad entries. We would have been better to wait until a trend retest. But again, because it's Friday, I just want to get in. I want to get out. I don't necessarily want to wait for a midday entry because there's lots of sell-offs and I might not get one. So this way we still do. We get the 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, and even our 5-to-1 all easily in a row. And this is what I like. I like these trades that continue post-exit, right? In comparison to a quick 1-to-1 and then stop out, right? Where, it's going to be harder for people to replicate because it's very, very quick and it doesn't always work out with a fill, right? Unless you're using an active trader, which I kind of recommend for small caps as well as options. But that aside, as long as there's liquidity and the spread's not bad anyways. This just holds out all afternoon. Looks like it's going to break down and reverse, but doesn't really. And just immediately, volume picks up again. And away we go for a massive 200 and nearly 36%, 17-to-1 risk reward off our original entries in the morning. Nothing I would ever expect. And, it's actually holding pretty good. Like it's still up 246% on the day, right? Even after this massive retracement. So you already know what it is, right? Tomorrow, Monday, today's Monday, Tuesday, we want to see a low volume inside bar consolidation, at which point maybe we can look at it for a day 3 inside bar breakout, right? We've been doing really good with those this past week, and maybe we can look for some more in the coming days. So with that being said, general markets, crypto, Bitcoin had a bearish reversal on the 1 day. Now, that's crazy because they're like, oh, they changed it. It was just telling me about how Bitcoin had a golden cross, which is crazy because I don't see that. Because that's when your 50's crossing your 200, right? Which is down here. That That happened some time ago. Or it hasn't really. It hasn't really even had the chance. I do use exponential myself as well. I guess technically here. But it's like it didn't even reverse though. Like anyways, there's my bearish signal. And we have also a bearish order block here as well, which isn't great. So it's like double top, if you will. A lot of institutional selling here. And we could pick it up anywhere. Like, so ideally pick it up at 104 on the 200, sure. But as we continue forward, see these wicks all in this area that are being bought up. We're just going to watch and see if price can hold that, right? We just want to see price hold this area. And if it can continue to wick here, there's no reason that you don't get expansion backwards. However, there is now a bearish fair value gap on the 1 day that we've activated, that was formed here, right? The way these work is, you know, you get into it and then you dump down, right? So there's like a lot of inefficiency here because it was such a drastic move. So there's a good chance, you know, that we work our way back in, potentially to the top and break down. We could invalidate it, like that's definitely on the menu. But you know, we have a couple things lining up here where we have our 1 day bearish reversal signal, and we have room down, and we are now into a bearish fair value gap, which is more than likely also going to send us back down. However, there is another side to that, and that's that these wicks are being bought up, right? There's a lot of buy pressure here. So we'll see if that buy pressure can hold, support the bid, and maybe reverse it upwards. So that's what we've got on crypto. Futures are open, I guess. Oil is up a bit. Let's go on the 15 minutes. It's kind of chucking upwards here. Last a little bit. Specifically last night, I guess. Right? Getting a good boost. And the market kind of down, right? But it's been so high that we expect it to retrace a little bit, and you know it just keeps going up day by day. Futures are basically trading flat. We'll see if we can get new highs, I guess. Let's just look at the SPY. It's probably a little bit of a cleaner chart. Where are you? I spy with my... I'm blind. What's up here? So yeah, bearish bias on the day. We closed below the candle here, right? The wick on the candle before. So, you know, we're kind of going to aim for that 643. If it breaks down through that, not great. So you see how we were just talking about that bearish fair value gap. Here we have a bullish one, right? And then we tap into it and expand out, right? That's the same premise, right? But this one's kind of already played out a bit, where you could take your entry, you know, take your entry here, stop losses below, tighten it up a bit, and then you hit a 1-to-1, right? There's your trade, boom, off of fair value gap entry. Nothing we played, but you know, just to show an entry model for you guys off of this structure. So yeah, I hope the market trends down. I wouldn't mind see it re-tap the gap. That's fine, 640. If not, some good news will come out, and you know we're at all-time highs again. I totally expect that. The market is in absolute clown mode. Like I don't know how we're not getting the retracement that I was looking for long ago. And now the thing is, you know, as the price trends above our moving averages, we're not going to get here anymore. we're never going to get here anymore because the 200's through it. And so we're going to have to look for new entries, which is probably, it's probably here, right? 630, 626. So we'll see. We got a whole week ahead of us and, lots to go through. So we'll take it day by day. And thanks for hanging out for the weekly recap. Quite a bit of rambling in this video. We had a long night, not much sleep. So, I hope you have a great day, a great week ahead of you, and I'll see you throughout the week. Take care.